Hi guys, Darth Deuce here, back with our Star Wars The Black Series action figure review. Today taking a look at the last member of the Bad Batch Season 2 Walmart exclusive figures that have come out. And we have Echo here. Yeah, I managed to track him down. Did not find him in stores, but I had to get him through a third-party seller, but that seller did have him for retail price. So luckily, at the very least, I didn't have to overpay for him. And yeah, he's pretty nice. I'd say, like I kind of expected, he's kind of my least favorite out of the bunch that they made. Out of all the ones they made, I feel like he's the one that gained the least. He has a bit of new tooling, but it's nothing too major, and he kind of feels the least new out of the bunch, I guess. But I still think he's nice. So let's just take a closer look. So here we have the head sculpt and the face print that I think looks pretty good. I think it actually is a bit of an improvement over the first figure, the season 1 figure. He's got some nice sculpting for the cybernetics, a little bit of paint. He's got some bronze or gold paint on these little cybernetic bits on his head there. I think the face print and sculpt looks pretty good. It's not too glossy. It's pretty nice. Then the rest of the suit looks good. There's a lot of paint going on. I like that there's still like some scuffing and battle damage sculpted into it. Some different shades of orange. So this light gray you'll see throughout, as well as the darker gray. The shoulder pads, both shoulder pads are actually new sculpts. That is some of the new sculpting that went on this figure, but I believe the head sculpt and the full torso and midsection are just reused and repainted, as well as the arms, aside from the shoulder pads. I believe they are just repainted as well. But they do look pretty good. The cybernetic arm has some nice detailing there. I did have to cut a trigger finger onto the left hand because for some reason it just doesn't have a trigger finger, even though that's the only hand he can hold the blaster in. Is what it is. The belt and comma piece are actually a new sculpt as well. I'll do a comparison with the season 1 figure, but this is a new sculpt. It's got some pretty good paint apps. You've got orange trimming there, the beigeish color, some of that gray, and then brown for the straps. Looks pretty good. And then you've got the legs and the crotch, which I think are all just repainted from that original figure. So not a ton of new tooling. But yeah, I think he still looks good. He's got quite a bit of colors and different paint going on that I think looks pretty nice. In terms of articulation, you do have a double joint at the base of the head as well as at the base of the neck. He looks up a pretty good amount, looks down a decent amount, pivots and rotation. Single hinges in the shoulders. The shoulder pads are softer plastic. They will get out of the way. There is a bit of a butterfly joint in there. It's not too crazy, but it is there. You have a swivel at the just above the elbow here, and then a hinge joint, and then no wrist articulation because he doesn't really have a wrist. But then he has a single hinge that goes past 90, and then swivel, and then in and out hinge at this wrist. I wish it was up and down, but it is what it is. Torso joint arcs back just a little bit. Crunches forward actually a fair amount. Pivots decently, and rotation. Hip joints, they are kind of limited because of the plastic comma, but it kicks out about that far. And you can get him to spread about that far, which isn't too bad. There's swivel cut at the where the armor meets the leg there, so it's nice and hidden. Single hinge at the knee that goes a bit past 90. And hinges ankles that go up a fair bit, that go down a fair bit. And the rocker for pivot. So he's got good articulation. A little bit of hindering. You might have to work with the hip joints a little bit, but overall, he poses pretty well. In terms of accessories, it doesn't come with too much, but I mean, of course, you get your clone pistol. It's just cast in this light gray plastic, but it does its job. There is a holster on the side there. It slots in there nice and securely. It won't fall out or anything. Then you can also put it in his hand. If you want him to hold it nicely, you will have to cut the trigger finger yourself. But if you do that, he holds it pretty well. Also has his backpack. This is just repainted from the first figure, but it has some nice paint detailing on it. And then that just plugs in on the back fairly securely. It's not going to just fall off, which is nice. And then it does have the helmet. That again is just reuse, but it is repainted and looks pretty nice. Isn't too much of a pain to get on. You just kind of work those bits over, line up the helmet with the cybernetics, and then just close up the back collar. And then it fits on pretty good and it looks pretty good. Echo definitely is one of my favorite helmet designs out of the batch. I like that helmet design a lot. He does not come with the little claw piece accessory arm attachments that the original figure came with, which on the one hand is not a big deal because I'm assuming it was based off of concept art. I never actually used it in the show. But with this figure being at that exclusive price point, being like $7 or $8 more expensive than a retail figure or a mainline figure, and then the mainline figure that was cheaper came with more accessories that came with that claw accessory, it would have been nice if they would have just thrown it in. But that's a small gripe. But yeah, overall he looks pretty nice. I guess lastly, just to do comparisons. First off, here he is with the Bad Batch Season 1 figure. And you can see there is quite a bit of similarity going on here. You can see like the comma, they are different. The belts are different. The shoulder pads, they're really subtle, but they are a bit different. It's really hard to tell, but they are different. But everything else, aside from the comma and the shoulders, are all the same, just different paint. In terms of the helmets, or the head sculpt underneath the helmets rather, if I can pull the helmets back off for a second. It's been a while since I've taken the helmet off of the first release. Just taking a look. I don't know what it is, but I do think that the new one looks just a little better. I think maybe the eyes look a little more realistic looking, a little sharper looking, and that the skin tone looks a little more realistic as well. They're both pretty good, honestly, but yeah, I do think the new one does have a bit of a better unhelmeted sculpt there. And then with the rest of his squad mates, we have Hunter, Tech, Wrecker, and Omega, who is the only member of the squad who isn't the Walmart exclusive. But they look really, really good together. I'm really happy I was able to eventually complete the whole squad. But yeah, there's not really too much else to say. Overall, I think it's a good figure. Like I said, I think he is my least favorite out of the bunch. He doesn't really have anything that really upgrades from the old figure. And he doesn't have enough new to really... He feels the most like a repaint, I guess. Where all the other figures had something pretty significantly changed. Tech, he was mostly repaint, but he had the redone helmet and the goggles on the unhelmeted sculpt, which is a massive upgrade from the previous figure. The Wrecker has a fair amount of new sculpted parts. He's got the larger sculpted blaster, and he has weapon storage for that blaster. And then Hunter has, I'd say like 80% of that figure, or at least 75% of that figure is all new sculpting, where he feels like a brand new figure. But yeah, overall, if you are a fan of Bad Batch and you're a fan of their Season 2 looks, and you're going to complete the squad, I would definitely recommend picking them up. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. May the Force be with you.